Well, hey, this is Fat Guy Flies RC coming to you from the man cave. I'm going to go over the radio setup for the FMS F-86 Star Blazer or Sky Blazer, and well, either one of the F-86, same setup. And I just did the assembly video. Now I've done the radio. I put it together, got the radio assigned. Now I did not use the Sabre. The F-86 Sabre is an inherently stable platform as it is. So I chose not to use a gyroed receiver. Instead, like a Spectrum AR631 or something like that, or AR630, I instead chose to use a Lemon RX Gen 2 7-channel receiver, because the way the plane puts together, the flaps come on a Y, you put them on a Y, and then your air brakes and your flaps work at the same time. Well, to me, that's just too much, and I would rather use the air brakes actually like I do thrust reverse and put that on a 7th channel, and I have that on my my C switch. You watch the air brakes. So I got them as they open out. Okay, now let me show you the setup in here. Now, on the board, okay, on this board, on this control board, you're going to have this one little pigtail that's going to be all by itself. It says it's channel 5. Now that should be gear. I don't know. I plugged it into my receiver. It didn't do anything. But when you plug the white cable that comes out of the side here that says it's gear, I plugged into my gear channel, and the gear, all 3 gear work like they're supposed to. All the doors work like they're supposed to. So I really don't know what that little pigtail is that says it's channel 5 coming on off the control board. I honestly don't know. Now, other people are saying they're having a problem with the elevator servo, or I didn't have a problem with anything. Everything just plugged right in. Everything's labeled on this side of the control board, and it's got labels that goes right to your receiver, channel 1, channel 2. You know, however many your channels, whether you're using Spectrum or FOTOB or whatever, everything's labeled, and then you just plug it accordingly. Now that's where I put the 7-channel Lemon RX right there. Okay, I got one antenna going down into this hole down in the cavern, and then one going back. So one's going straight down, one going straight back, so they are at 90 degrees from each other. But like I say, that I chose to do that. Everything on that control board is labeled. You really don't have, there's not much to figure out. The only thing is I couldn't figure out what that little pigtail, and it's not labeled either. It says it's coming out channel 5, but where it goes or what it does, I do not know. Now, to show you my rates and everything, we'll go over CG last. The book calls for your rates to be at, once again, millimeters, not percentages. Most everybody uses, or a lot of people use percentages, so I had to guesstimate, and I'll just show you what I've got. Okay, and I took a ruler and I kind of measured, and it's pretty close to what they're saying for high and low. Okay, if you look at my high rates, okay, which my high rates, I put I put everything. If you're getting this plane, this is not the first time you set up an airplane. So I tell you, I put my rates on G, you'll understand. I put my rates on G. For me, high is 80% on the ailerons. That's 80%, okay? That's 80% ailerons with 20% expo. For my my mid rates on my ailerons, I went with 70, and then my low rates, I went with 60. Okay, so 60, that's low, mid is 70, and high is 80, with 20% all the way around expo. Now for my elevator, okay, they call for a slightly higher rate on the elevator, so my high is 85 on the elevator. Okay, my mid is 75, and then my low is 60% throws, and 20% expo all the way around. Now, my rudder my low is 70, my mid is 80, and my high is 90. I like more rudder. So that's the only place I kind of deviated. Now, to show you how I did the air brake, like I said, I have a seven channel receiver, okay? So what I did was, you go down here, once you got your receiver and you go to system setup, you're all bound up and everything, okay? On channel assign, I have channel 7, which is my aux 2, which is that 7th channel, on my C switch right there. And then you just go to the next and you make sure that aux 2 is aux 2. You see gear is gear, aux 1 is flap, and aux 7, or my 7th channel, is my C. I chose C for that. And then now look at, now this way, when I come to land, I got my flaps are on D and my brakes are on C. So look at my flaps. Flaps are coming all the way down, and there my air brakes just came down. So, you know, when I come in for a landing, I touch down. As soon as I touch down, I'm going to immediately deploy my brakes for braking. Now, to show you since you can see the flaps pretty good, I haven't set the timer or audio prompts or anything, but my flap system, I don't have any down mix, okay? For on a spectrum, for flaps up, I've got a -100, okay? For takeoff, here's takeoff, and that is a -25%. You can see what that looks like. And then for landing, it's a +75. That's like big old barn doors, okay? So that's -25, okay, +75 for landing, -25 for takeoff, and then a -100 for flaps up. All right. Once I bound the aircraft, that's when then I knew that all my my servos for my control surfaces was centered. So then that's when I hooked up all the control rods. The 3 shortest ones are what control your elevator, both sides of your elevator and your rudder. And then your other 4 is what's for the flaps and the ailerons. Now, if you go and you hooked it on the outside hole, for an instruction I put on the outside hole, okay, like, let's show the aileron for instance. I did this all the same. I hooked it on the outside hole, and then on where they had the ball link already installed, so the outside to outside. Now, if your linkage is, like, you keep it level, you kind of hold it with one hand and lay that on there. And this is all nice and level, and that lays on there and it makes it level, then go ahead and pop it in place. But if you lay your ball link on there and it doesn't touch it, then you just screw this in or out until this is level, and you can lay the ball link on there and your control surface is nice and level, and then you just pop it in place. And that same procedure all the way around on all control surfaces. Remember that and when you hook everything up, the lights are already wired, so you don't have to worry about that. They're already put in there. Remember that nose gear has a timer, sequence doors, okay? So just be aware of that. So you're going to remember that when you go take off, and especially when you go to landing, they don't immediately come down, especially that nose gear. So I always suggest make sure that you've got, make a pass, go by, fly by dirty. Or you got your flaps down, you got your gear down, make sure everything's down, and then you come back and do your landing. Now I had one boo-boo in that my S here on the side, the sticker was coming up, so I put a little glue underneath my finger, rubbed it on the top of that sticker, and then I put a piece of clear tape over that. So now that's nice and locked in there. That was the only really mistake. There are a few other places where some of the stars are kind of coming up, but just press them down. They're fine. I'll eventually give a clear coat to this, after I give it the maiden. But oh yeah, CG is 180 to 190 millimeters back from the wing root. So the wing root is always where the wing touches the fuselage. So you just measure back, and those two dots I put there, the first one's 180, the back one's 190. Okay, just to show you, I've got a 4300 6S in there right now. So put my fingers basically right between that, and she pretty well CG's right there. Might be slightly tail heavy, but that's okay. That will help with flaring for landing. All right, let's put our gear up the way we're actually flying here. Okay, put my fingers on my spots there. Okay, and that's not bad right there. That's pretty good. I don't like using the CG machine because, I mean, I use it for maybe something a little stronger, but this has that foam and it makes all them little dents and dings. Now to turn the model over, okay, let's see if I can, I got the same mark. I'll just show you the landmarks, okay? If you look at you got a plastic piece here, and then you see this joiner comes in here. Where those two pieces join together, just put your finger pad right there. Feel that little corner? Right in that area there is your CG for the bottom. So just put your finger in there, and you know, and you're pretty good to go. All right. So that's that. Oh, don't drop it. Remember, it takes a while for the gear to come down. The other thing you want to check, make sure this little O-ring, you know, is on there nice and secure, not barely hanging on. Mine are all nice and good shape, but always want to check. But if you look closely, like back here, there's a piece of plastic structure that kind of holds it in place. So not the same on the nose. So if anyone's going to come off, it's going to be that nose gear. Mine is in good shape. Just check yours. Make sure that little C-clip is on there nice and snug, and you've got free movement on the wheel. Like I said, I put 20% expo all the way around on all the control surface. She visually looks trim, but of course, you know, looks can be deceiving. Just because she looks trim doesn't mean she is. You got to fly her first. I'm not going to, the book doesn't say anything about elevator to flat mix, so I'm not going to do that until I fly it. But visually she looks trim. I've already taken her out and did a driveway test just to see if she range test, no problem at all. I love these Gen 2, these Liminex Gen 2s. I don't like the Gen 1. They had signal issue, but these Gen 2s have I'll put them up against any Spectrum or a good Futaba receiver any day. They've got a good, strong, locked-in signal. You don't have to worry about it. Now, there's one little drawback I've noticed. I tried putting a 5,000, or at least my 5,000, in here, and you got to configure it just right. And that hatch, it doesn't necessarily fit in there nice and tight. I mean, it's on there, but you know, you're going to have to be cognizant of how you put your 5,000 in there, or bigger. Now, I put a 6,000 that's shaped a little flatter, and it fits in there just fine. But if a 4,300 CG's up close, then the bigger you go, the further you're going to go back. Well, there you go. We went over CG, went over my rates. I showed you how I configure the air brakes. I decided to have them on a separate switch so I can actually consider them brakes and not and keep them independent of the flaps. But like I say, you will have to have a 7-channel receiver if you want to do that. Now, again, I have no idea what that little single, it says it's channel 5, but there's another one that comes out, it's channel 5 too, and I don't know what it's to, and the book doesn't say. So, I don't know, but everything functions and everything's working, so I can't advise. Hobby Zone, thank you so much again for sending this out to me for a review. I'll get her out in the field, and when I've maiden her, then I'll figure out if she needs a flap to elevator mix. I know I can do flight modes and all that, but I like doing it the old-fashioned way, and that requires a lot of landings and takeoffs, but that's just me. The lights are incredibly bright, especially that tail light. I mean, outside I thought, well, and here it's not so much, but outside, wow, it's very bright. And the I can't remember now. I can't remember if the nose light goes out when the gear goes up. Yes, it does. Okay, so that goes out when the gear's up. But when the gear comes down, your landing lights come on. And they are forward facing. They're not very super distinct, but they kind of reflect off of that. So maybe cheat a little bit and put a little piece of clear tape on the front of that, and that will give that a little more reflection forward. You know, might be an idea. So, all right. Good looking airplane, and I get the feeling she's going to fly just as good as she looks. All right, Mr. Dale Snodgrass in the cockpit there. Hobby Zone, thank you again for sending this out to me. This is the Skyblazer F-86, 80mm, got suspension gear. Looks like a stellar airplane. I can't wait to fly her. We'll get right back with y'all for the maiden. And this is Fat Guy Flies RC saying, God bless each and every one of you. Merry Christmas. And don't forget, faith, family, and friends, and then really cool looking jets. They're very patriotic. Bye.